episode because I was like, okay, this is powerful and it's something that really needs to be discussed and thought out. So, yeah, I can definitely see the similarities and the validity in it. Um, it was a good article, so check it out. Check it out, y'all. Damon.
All right. Y'all hear that? All right, black guys, we gotta support the minorities within our minority. All right.
Yeah, for real.
All right.
All right. So number 4, which is I'm sorry, this is number 3. Subject number 3. These days, are Black women taught to be more independent and lead manless lives versus being taught how to keep a man?
Ooh, pick me.
Go ahead, Brandon.
You gotta leave soon, so what's up? What's your thoughts?
Okay. All right. So I think, here what I think about this. I think that this isn't something that is taught on purpose. All right. Here what I feel about this. So in America, historically, we're talking about since the beginning of slavery, very often the males were separated from the females either by being sold or by death. So the children were with the moms, and the father was either killed for whatever reason or sold away. So the mentality has been, hey, gotta be strong and independent because father, husband, the male has been removed from my life for some reason. So there's a narrative there about being independent. And that's something from there. So that becomes a systemic thing that leads down. So between that and also with being, at the bottom corporately, where you feel you have to, there's no one pushing you up, helping you out, lifting you up. Yeah, of course you gotta get to the point where you're like, yo, I gotta do this myself. So you have that happening. And of course, within the just the 20th century, the rate of Black males being killed, being incarcerated, a lot of women are forced into being independent. So they are also teaching that independence to young Black, girls, women, in case they're in a situation where they also have to be independent. Does it ever get to a point where it may become a toxic thing? Possibly. But I think that it's not something that's been maliciously bred from within Black women that I'm just going to be independent. And it's not the preference, I don't think, amongst most Black women to just do everything alone and fuck everybody else.
No.
Right. I don't think that's the initial desire of that's what. So I think there's a lot of layers to this question.
I don't think it's that. I mean, there are layers. There's layers to everything, but for me, I think it's a system thing. I don't necessarily think that it's a personal thing. Like my mom has taught me to be an independent woman. Yes, she never taught me to, have a manless life, but she always taught me to marry rich. Because she said, yeah, honey, she's honey, money doesn't buy like happiness, but it sure enough will pay the bills. So
prevent some stress. I got you.
Right. So, but what I have noticed in, a lot of things over the years as a Black woman is that, like, it's not necessarily our families or, growing up, but it's the system that is making us be manless. And hear me out. So when I was looking to go to college and I couldn't seem to, find my way, and I had called the financial aid office because my parents had made too much, so I didn't qualify for much. So she told me I either need to, one, be emancipated from my parents and saying that I haven't seen them or heard from them in years, or have a child. And I'm like, did this woman just tell me to have a kid? I'm like 20
Yeah,
years old. Like,
that's the system right there.
but she had told me that because if I had a child, then I qualify for more. I qualify for more financial aid. I qualify to go back to school. I qualify for all of that. Now, what I didn't know is that if that child's father is involved in my life, lives with me, we're raising a family, then I don't qualify for anything because there's a man in the home. But if there is no man in the home, I get more food stamps. I get
Section 8 money goes up big time.
I could get Section 8. I could get everything that I need to live and to thrive without having a man in my life. But yeah, I have the system who is my man in my life. As long as I can portray that I don't have no man to
Right.
take care of me or my child in the life. So I feel that it's not necessarily a narrative of growing up and people teaching us that. I think it's just more of a system thing instead of, and people talk about, oh, you're on welfare because this and that, but it's like and then what another thing with the system is, our Black men, they fall into the system, so then we are left as Black women to raise our children by ourselves, and and half the time it's no fault of their own that they have fallen into the system, but then we're both caught up in this whirlwind of this systematic racism that when it comes to man, because when he comes home then he can't work, and so now I have to figure out how I'm going to raise my children and help my man with everything. So it's just
Right.
like it's like you said, Brandon, there is layers to this, but I feel that it's more of a system thing than it is being taught.
There is. That's part of it too. I actually used to work in the housing authority office or the Section 8 department.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is a shitty situation. I'm gonna say it. It's not just crappy, it's shit, because there were women who would have very positive men in their lives, whether that's the father of their children, just boyfriends or a husband, that would have to lie about them being a part of the household so that their assistants wouldn't get cut to the point where they weren't able to survive or live a life or be comfortable. And it was part of our job, even though a lot of us didn't push it because we knew the situation, but they wanted us to investigate and discover and catch them doing it.
Mm-hmm.
No, like my motivation was never to catch them doing it. Like, no, I'm not doing all that. Yeah, but they wanted them to, us, them to not have that extra support, extra income in the house.
Wow.
What was the reason?
I said no. I said these are people's lives.
Yeah, they're people's lives. Yeah.
I think I agree with both of you. I think sometimes it is taught, but indirectly. I don't. Sometimes it's taught directly, like by everybody know that one bitter Black woman that's like, you don't need no man. I can do it without him. Everybody knows.
See, right? She bitter for a reason, though. Something happened.
Something happened, but everybody know at least one. But I think sometimes it's even taught indirectly, like you grow up and you see mom taking care of everything, and maybe dad is a part of your world, but maybe dad's off at work, and so he's off at work. You're at home and you're seeing mom handling everything.
Yeah.
So indirectly, you're seeing her take care of things manless, even though he's still providing, but he's never there,
right,
managing the household.
Yeah, because the American narrative, especially in the first half of the 1900s, was man goes to work, comes home, gives the check to the wife handles all the house shit.
Right. So like if you then you as a kid you might think, well, the woman takes care of it.
Yeah, she's the one that's doing it, right?
Yeah. So I grew up with a bunch of strong Black independent women in my.
Amen to that one, sister.
Yeah. I'm still blessed to have my great grandmother. I have my grandmother. I have my mom. I have my great aunt. I have my aunt. So like I have a lot of women that I grew up around, independent women who were in a sense running the show, whether they had a man or not. So I am guilty of having that independent Black woman syndrome. I am so guilty at times.
I don't think it's bad. I think it becomes bad when it becomes the toxic level where it's not just doing for yourself. Everyone should be doing for themselves, but to the point of like fuck everybody else. Don't, and then that's where it gets bad, and then that's when men, not just Black men, but because the women in general, where they're like, well, is there a partnership here? Where's my role in this?
Yeah, toxic because you can't even form a partnership. You can't even share the duties with a man who wants to be there, and a man who wants to take care of things. You can't even relinquish your control enough to do that. So that's where the problem lies.
Yeah, and I think that it also it kind of puts the man down in a sense of like, where is my respect in this whole situation? Like, you know what I mean? I don't even think it's like, but it's more of like, where's my respect? Where's my,
acknowledgement.
Like you said, yeah, like you said, role in all of this. Like, and some women can be very like controlling when it comes to
sometimes with Black women specifically, since that's the topic for today, I think sometimes we struggle with vulnerability.
We do.
So being hard and being strong and taking care of everything and having control, healthy control, is just as important as being soft, as pulling back, as listening, as picking your battles. Is that vulnerability, and I think our men need that vulnerability from us. And so I think sometimes when you can't have that balance of soft and hard, it kind of makes it hard for the good men to be around.
Right. We end up pushing those good men away.
Yeah, because our lack of vulnerability.
Right.
Because I mean, men need, from my understanding, Brandon could correct me if I'm wrong, but men need to feel needed.
I think everybody knows to feel needed, but men need to feel needed too, man. All right, so I'm gonna let y'all in on something though. Here's a reason why. Men do every single thing to impress women. I'm telling you, every part of it to impress women, all of it.
It's like they do it to impress women, but they might not be doing it to impress you or to impress Black women. Because like 50
Well, yeah, possibly.
He's doing what he's doing, but not to impress us.
But it's not though. But all right, think about what you just said though. If Black women, if they're having this toxic independence, and then men are like, well, where do I fit in? And they're also, being where their efforts or their feelings are being trumped by that independence all the time, but then they date exotic women, whatever that is, and there's more of a balance, they're going to prefer that.
It's true.
That's for real. But yeah, in general, men do everything somehow related to, they want to smell good, look good, car, money, independent. That's all right. That's all
they
women
do it for women, but they might not be doing it for you.
Possibly. But hey, you gotta give them some space and room to do it.
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do.
And with that, drop the mic and I'm out.
All right, B Mike is out for the night, and we have a topic. But thanks. We'll see you.
All right.
Yeah.
See you later.
Safe travels.
Yep.
All right, so the last part of this is what changes can be made. So, like, what do we want to see happen? What do we want as Black women?
As Black women, I